absolutely unbelievable. It's a tie game! Woo! Finally! Go Leafs, go! It's not baseball, but let's see a rally. Let's go Leafs!
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Maple Leafs Media. We have a bit of a different setup today in a different location, but we're here to talk hockey as always. And what a night, what a game of hockey. 6-3 victory for the Tampa Bay Lightning over the Montreal Canadiens in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have been dominant throughout this series. The Montreal Canadiens have shown signs of life. They've shown flashes, but it's just not enough. The Tampa Bay Lightning are a superpower. They are a juggernaut, and they're one game away from being they're one game away from being the Stanley Cup champions for a second consecutive season. Insane effort from Tampa Bay. What a game. It was a back and forth game, and it's tough bounces for the Montreal Canadiens. Some of those goals off juicy rebounds. Carey Price doesn't usually allow those, but it's a tough night for Montreal fans for sure. The Fozzie Bear. Only the 1942 Leafs came back from down 3-0 to win the Stanley Cup. Can the Habs do it? Fozzie Bear. I've been saying, okay, we can't count out Montreal. I've been that guy, but I don't think so. I don't think the Montreal Canadiens can come back in this series. I think this series is done, and that's not to say Montreal can't make it more interesting, but Tampa Bay will win this series. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they're too good. They're not going to lose 4 consecutive games to the Montreal Canadiens. I don't care how resilient that group's been. It's not going to happen. And you can come back here on this channel and you can talk all the smack you want if it does happen, but Montreal, they're not going to come back. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I want to know what you think, though. Are the Habs done? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. Can the Montreal Canadiens come back? Are they finished in this series? What do you think? What do you think? Are the Habs done? Let me know in the comment section. And also, while you're at it, if you haven't already, please make sure you smash the like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time new content is being released on Maple Leafs Media. I'm going to be here for the remainder of the Stanley Cup Finals every night, post-game show, however long that may be. I'm going to be here next month. Some exciting stuff coming up for the NHL offseason. You have the expansion draft. You have free agency. You have the NHL entry draft. There's a lot of exciting things coming up in the hockey world in the next coming month. Tom says Montreal is finished. Brian, Habs are done. Joe says, oh yeah, I'd be surprised if it goes more than 5, but it could be a sweep. And you know what? You know what I was thinking? Maybe, yes, there's a sweep, but is there a chance that Tampa wants to win this in front of their home fans? Maybe. They want to win it in front of home fans after winning the Stanley Cup last year in front of no fans. Maybe. We'll see. I think they just want to get it out of the way. That's obviously the top priority. But if it so happens they can win it in Game 5, I don't think that it goes beyond that point in time. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning would be too motivated at that point. You have a packed house in front of your home fans in your home arena. They missed that last season when they were in the bubble. So having all those fans there, I think that'd be just more motivation for them. Gaming with Ty says, I think they're done. Think they may win one game, maybe. They might win one game. They might. They might win 2 games. Heck, they might even win 3. I don't see them winning this series, though. Don't flirt with disaster. Win it in Game 4. Yeah, Fozzie Bear, I'm not saying that'd be a smart idea by any means of my imagination. Like, that would not be a good idea at all. You just want to win the Stanley Cup right away. But, hey, if you could do it in front of your home fans, it would be a little bit sweeter. Tom says they're the top team by far. This team has a great deal of talent. That's a great comment, Tom. This Tampa Bay Lightning team is the best team in the NHL. Make no mistake about it. They are the best team in the NHL. They're what teams around the league are trying to model their franchise after. Top to bottom, they're stacked. They have stars at every position. They have probably the best defenseman on the planet in Victor Hedman, the best goalie on the planet, Andrei Vasilevsky. They have superstar talent, Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, Steven Stamkos up front. And then they have those grindy, chippy guys that can be great for your supporting cast. Guys like Blake Coleman, Yanni Gord. Tampa they've got a fantastic team. Joe says, all that talent and only $18 million over the cap. Lol. Yeah, the cap manipulation, it's a part of the game. And, I mean, why bother complaining about it? Let's be honest. The Toronto Maple Leafs, on a smaller sample size, they tried to do the same thing. They had Frederik Anderson on the long-term injured reserve. They tried to save money, brought in Foligno, Riley Nash, and others. Teams around the league are trying to do this. The Tampa Bay Lightning were just lucky enough to have Nikita Kucherov and Steven Stamkos on the long-term injured reserve to save all that money and bring in other talented players. So yeah, it's definitely an advantage to them, but it is what it is. Teams can manipulate the cap around the NHL, and I don't really think there's a reason to change that. Not complaining, congratulating them for doing it better than us, Toronto. Can't deny it. It's still funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Steve says, Montreal at their best can beat Tampa. I don't doubt that. But what I've noticed is a change in attitude. Every other series, they were relaxed, having fun, but they got serious and throwing themselves off. This is a young group that the Montreal Canadiens have. Like they've got their share of talented guys. Yes, I'm just talking about the young players, Cole Caulfield, uh, guys like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. I'm talking about them. They're the top scorers for the Montreal Canadiens, and they're young guys. So there's a lot of pressure on those guys to perform and score goals. There's players that have been there before, but they don't seem like the team that we've seen in the past. It seems like they've been worn down, and Tampa Bay would. I don't think there's a team that would beat Tampa Bay in the NHL. So let's not shame the Montreal Canadiens' efforts here. Let's say that they're still giving a great effort. They're staying in some of these games, but it's just not enough. Tampa Bay is too damn good. They're amazing. They really are playing a different style against Tampa than the first 3 rounds. They switched from sit back D to go offense. Yeah, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are a high flying team as well, and it seems more like the Montreal Canadiens are playing to the play style of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and you don't want to do that. If you're Montreal, you wanted this series to be a defensive physical series, and it's been physical, but there's been a lot of goals scored, and it's been lopsided at times. Daniel Rojas says big sweep, and not quite yet. Not quite yet, but they could very well be coming on Sunday night in Montreal. And imagine paying that much money for the ticket to go to a Stanley Cup Finals game and having that result tonight. It'd be really cool to be in the building for that game. Don't get me wrong, but that'd be pretty disappointing. Great experience for the young guns. True, proud of them that they made it to the finals. Nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of for the Montreal Canadiens at all. That they are the ultimate underdogs. The Montreal Canadiens have been the ultimate underdogs this season, and they deserve a lot of credit for the efforts they've put out throughout the playoffs. Everybody was counting them out when they were down 3-1 to Toronto. Not me. I actually said, hey, let's cool it. They could come back, and they did. Wasn't happy about it, but uh, people were counting out Montreal against Vegas. Once they made it out of the North Division, they said, there's no way. Now, I've been saying, okay, let's pump the brakes a bit. Let's give them more than 2 games of it. It's over. Andrew says, I told you the series is so over. It's safe to say it's over. And I'd be really surprised if the Montreal Canadiens pulled an upset here. I don't think it's happening. Woo, let's go Bolts. I feel like Leafs Nation. That's just Leafs Nation doesn't want to see the Montreal Canadiens win the Stanley Cup. And it doesn't matter that they're the only Canadian team in the finals. You don't want to see your biggest rival who just eliminated you in the first round, embarrassed you. You don't want to see them win. What can Montreal do to at least win at least one game? It's a great question. They need to find a way to shut down the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that's easier said than done. Much easier said than done. I don't think that's a really hard question to answer. I mean, to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're gonna have to give it their all next game. They're gonna be gassed. ASC says play Allen. I think that's a bit extreme. I know Carey Price, he did struggle tonight, and he had a lot of bad bounces that he doesn't usually have. But I don't think that's the answer. It's not the answer. Carey Price has gotten you this far. You're gonna go. You're gonna go with Carey Price next game. We're just used to cheering for the blue and white over the Habs. Can you blame us? Eh, me too. Do you like the cap loophole? It is what it is. The cap loophole, it is what it is. Teams are going to they're going to manipulate the cap if they can. It's fine. There's no point. Let's think of it this way. Competitive teams are going to be the teams that are using it. The most competitive teams. It's not going to be teams that are fringe playoff teams. It's going to be teams that are competitive and hoping to make a run at the Stanley Cup that are going to use the loophole. So it's fine. I don't mind it at all. It's been in the league for quite some time now. There's no reason to change it. Connor Lawrence says, most of my family are Habs fans, and I'm the only Leafs fan. I really don't want to see the Habs win. I bet that would get on my nerves. It's like, okay, enjoy it. You've made it this far, but you never want to see your team's biggest enemy. You never want to see them win the Stanley Cup. You never want to see them win a championship. So, yeah, there's a lot of I have a lot of friends who are Montreal Canadiens fans, and I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them happy about the result of the Stanley Cup Finals. No, don't want to see that. Price is a classic veteran, and I mean you're only human. All those games, travel, etc. It does catch up to you, especially when you're ultimately carrying your team. Not saying no help. He does seem tired or off. And yeah, I mean, he's definitely tired and he's getting worn down. But it's a lot to ask. He has had a lot asked of him. He's been stellar. He's been stellar, close to impeccable for the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs this year. He's helped them get this far. I wouldn't necessarily say he's carried them on his back. He's guided them a really long way. But it's not like he stole that first series between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. He didn't steal that series. So he's really helped them get this far. Without Carey Price, they wouldn't get this far. But I'm not going to say he's been carrying this team on his back. Vasilevsky is so good. Vasilevsky is unreal, and he's got so many talented players in front of him too. The Tampa Bay Lightning. It's insane. It's insane what they've built. Daniel Rojas says, "How do you think the Leafs would fare versus the Bolts?" And I'm gonna talk as if this is a playoff series. If it's a playoff series or regular season, it doesn't really matter. But playoff series, I don't see the Maple Leafs pushing it past 6 games. I'm a Leafs fan. I don't think it fares too well. I think the matchup is better for the Maple Leafs than it would be for the Montreal Canadiens. Just because of the playing style, they're both high-flying offenses. They're going to score a lot of goals. But the Tampa Bay Lightning have the edge physically. They have the edge in net. Sorry, Jack Campbell is not Andrei Vasilevsky. I'm sorry, he's not. And Tampa Bay, they're just too good. Toronto would not win that series. They'd be lucky to get it to 6 games. I think it'd go 6 games, and Tampa Bay would win that series. I want to know. How do you think the Leafs would do in that series? Let me know. What do you think the result of the Maple Leafs Lightning series would be? That's interesting. Steve says, I keep hearing about Coleman as a Toronto option. Would he be a good fit in your opinion? I think he would be a great fit for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Blake Coleman, he's a guy that will play on the wing, and you could slot him probably on that third line, maybe even the second line. He is a playoff performer. We've seen it over the past 2 seasons since he was traded from New Jersey to Tampa Bay, and he plays with his heart on his sleeve. He's a very gritty, chippy player. He wants to win, and it shows every single shift he's on the ice. He's just a hard worker, a workhorse. I'd love to have Blake Coleman on the Toronto Maple Leafs, but we can play this game. We've got all off season to play this. Would you like to see them on the Leafs? And don't worry, I will have a lot of live streams talking about just rumors, whatever. I'll have trade talk live streams. I'll take your trade offers for a whole live stream. I will do an hour, 2 hour live stream of just reacting to your trade offers. I'm down for that. I hear Coleman and Goodrow are 2 players the Leafs will heavily target. That'd be nice. 2 players with winning experience, and I would rather out of the two, I'd rather Blake Coleman. Jack Trout, great comment. Leafs don't bring the steady, relentless pressure that the Bolts do. The Tampa Bay Lightning, even when the Tampa Bay Lightning are getting outplayed like they were in Game 2 of this series, they're still a dangerous team because they're just too good. They have too much talent everywhere you look. They're a high-flying team, and they're going to score. You make one mistake, and they're going to put it in the back of the net. it's brutal to go up against. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash the like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time new content is being released on Maple Leafs Media. I'm going to have some player interviews in the next few weeks. I've been in contact with some former NHL players, one former Maple Leafs player who didn't play for the Leafs ever, but some upcoming interviews. So stay tuned for more stuff about that, more information. I'll be making a post on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and if you haven't checked out Maple Leafs Media on all social media platforms, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell if you haven't subscribed already. Helps out the channel in a big way. We're at 1,100 subscribers on Maple Leafs Media now, and been doing this for just around a year now. So thank you for all the support. It means a lot. I've been working really hard on this. Steve says, doesn't matter who's in net. Tampa is going to score goals. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're going to force the goaltender to make mistakes. They're going to overwhelm the goaltender. They're going to overwhelm the opponents. Connor says, thoughts on Freddie maybe coming back? I'm surprised, actually. I was surprised to see that report. I was really surprised to see that report because I've been saying, it doesn't seem like Freddie would want to come back to Toronto to be in a backup role or even a splitting role with Jack Campbell. It doesn't seem like he'd want to do that. He's getting older, the wrong side of 30. You'd think he would want a big payday, but with the struggles that he had last season, maybe he realized, hey, I have to take a bit of a pay cut. I hope he realizes that, and I hope the Maple Leafs realize that too. ASC says $3 million max for Freddie, 2-year term. Yeah, I wouldn't want to give Freddie too much. I like Freddie, and Steady Freddie's been the rock for the Maple Leafs for a while, up until this year. But I was hesitant. I've been hesitant about saying that I want Freddie to come back here to Toronto. Like I've actually said multiple times throughout the regular season and up until the playoffs that I didn't see Frederik Andersen returning. I thought Zach Hyman would be a priority, which I'm sure he is, but I just think there's so many other goaltender options that are available on the free agent market and on the trade market as well that I'm surprised that Frederik Andersen might resign in Toronto. But who knows? Maybe he has a resurgence next year, and it's on a bargain deal. So let's stay open-minded. Stay open-minded for now. Andrew says we don't want David Riddick, and if the price is right, I'd be willing to re-sign him for a very cheap deal, but I don't want to pay him very much, and probably just a 1-year deal. Nothing too much. Steve says, to be honest, I'm not sure about UFA goalies. Who's available and who should Dubas be looking at? There's a lot. There's a lot of them. I'll just pull up a list of them here. Give me a second. Put up a list and share my screen. So unrestricted free agent goalies this year. Let me share the screen. Okay, so this is on Spotrac. So here's your list of unrestricted free agent goaltenders. There's a lot of viable options out there. Tuukka Rask, I think he'll re-sign in Boston. He said that's where he wants to retire. I'll take his word for that. Pekka Rinne, I don't really see him going anywhere other than Nashville. Maybe for one last go around to try to win a cup. Frederik Andersen, that's the topic of discussion right here. Devin Dubnyk, I'll pass. Antti Ranta, I'll pass. James Reimer? Anyone? Leafs Nation? James Reimer? Interesting, but there's better options out there. Philip Grubauer, Jonathan Bernier, Peter Mrazek, Yaroslav Halak. Ryan Miller's retired. Mike Smith. There's a lot. There's a lot of these unrestricted free agent goaltenders this season. So there's going to be a lot of options. That's why I was surprised to see that report with Frederik Andersen, because there's so many options this season. And there's also going to be the potential for a trade. Let's bring back Cujo. Yeah, I don't think Cujo's coming out of retirement anytime soon. Bernier and Halak, interesting too. I'm more interested in Halak out of those two. And I don't know, maybe that's just me being sour about the first go around that Bernier had in Toronto. He was better last year in Detroit on a bad team, but I think that's just me being sour. That's what that is. I really had a tough time watching the Bernier saga in Toronto. That was a tough time. Halak, I'd like that. He's a veteran. He's split the 1A, 1B role for a really long time. He's always been the 1B guy, though. That'd be an interesting one. Reimer. Hey, what'd your reaction be if we announced James Reimer signing? I don't know. Stay tuned for it. Maybe you'll find out. But James Reimer, I love that guy. I love James Reimer. That'd be fun to watch him in a Maple Leafs uniform again. Maybe finish out his career here. Uh-oh. Tobias says, what's your opinion on Mitch Marner? Everyone in the comments section, you want to shoot your comments in here, I guess. My opinion on Mitch Marner is that he's a very talented, gifted player. Fantastic player, okay? First team All-Star this year. But it doesn't matter if you don't do it in the playoffs. In a normal, full 82 game NHL season, there's 82 exhibition games that count for something, but they're exhibition games. He's great there, and he's going to help the team get to the playoffs. But in the playoffs, his track record is not good. He's still young. He has an opportunity to turn it around. And that's all Leafs Nation can do right now is hope that Mitch Marner does turn it around in the playoffs. Because what we've seen from him in the playoffs when it matters most isn't good enough. I'm not going to give up on Mitch Marner yet. No way. He's too talented. He's too good. We've seen so many great players not have a lot of playoff success early in their career and go on to win Stanley Cups. So, honestly, I really love Mitch Marner as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's just tough to watch him in the playoffs, the struggles he's been going through. He hasn't even hit his prime yet, and he's taking bumps, which is good. Yeah, hasn't hit his prime yet. He's got a long road ahead of him in the NHL. Fantastic player. It'd be neat to see Halak sign, seeing he was the Hamilton Bulldogs starter in the AHL back in the day, and he used to say he loved being in the GTA. That's interesting. I remember Halak playing with the Montreal Canadiens for a while. Who was he? Was it Price that he was here with, or was he in Montreal with, or was he there before Price? Can't remember, but Halak, I remember him in Montreal. Gretzky always said 3 seasons: the regular season, first 3 rounds, and then the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, you heard that. You heard that on the broadcast tonight during tonight's game, and it's right. The great one, when the great one speaks, you listen, and the great one. That's a great comment from the great one right there. 3 seasons, a regular season, which it's like an exhibition season. You know, it's you get comfortable, you get in the groove, and you get going for the real grind, the playoffs, the real grind, the real games that matter, and then the Stanley Cup Finals. It's the best of the best, the cream of the crop. That's the way it is. It's hockey. Habs are playing like I expected against the Leafs first round. Um, I haven't thought the Habs have been bad this series necessarily. I just think they've been dominated. The okay, not necessarily dominated at times. I don't think they've had a lead in this series. No, they haven't had a lead in the series. Montreal has been. They haven't had a lead in the series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning are a very talented team, and I think that a lot of people were expecting Tampa Bay to win. You saw on I don't know if you've seen on Instagram polls, like on people's Instagram stories, you click on the poll, and it's who's gonna win this cup. Is it gonna be Habs or Bolts? And everyone always says it's always in favor of the Habs. And I think that's just Habs fans' bias. Like so many putting it in there. Uh, the Habs have been a very impressive team throughout the playoffs here. So yeah, I mean, big credit to them. Hats off to them for the efforts they've made this season. Tobias says, "I believe the Leafs would have went to the second round, if not further, if John Tavares didn't get his fluke injury." Maybe. We'll never know. I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll never know. Do you want to keep Austin Matthews and Nylander? Yes, 100%. 100%. Austin Matthews coming off a season where he won the Rocket Richard Trophy, and William Nylander coming off a season where he looked fantastic, and in the playoffs he was the best player for the team. So yeah, I want to keep them both. No question about it. Okay, we're back. Okay. Steve says, got to admit, so my Wi-Fi connection was all weird there. Uh, hopefully I'm back. I don't know. Steve says, got to admit, man, those Habs players are tough boys. They do push back where a lot of guys lose their focus and crumble. Some of these scores did not reflect games themselves. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Game 2 especially. Game 2, 3-1 Tampa Bay win, and Tampa Bay just. I know it sounds like an obvious thing, but they just outscored Montreal. They didn't outperform them at all. Montreal outperformed the Tampa Bay Lightning, but the Lightning took advantage of their few opportunities they had, and they made the most of them. That's why they won that game, and that's why they look to win this series and close it out. Game 4 on Sunday night. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a dandy game. I hope to see you here on the Maple Leafs Media post-game coverage for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Sunday night, I'll be here, same time, same place. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash the like button. Hit that notification bell as well to be notified every time new stuff is being released on the channel. But yeah, big performance tonight from the Tampa Bay Lightning. And it's going to be interesting to see how Montreal responds. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your guy Jake, and I'm always used to saying "Go Leafs, go" down these streams. So, go Leafs, go.
Absolutely unbelievable. It's a tie game! Woo! Finally! Go Leafs, go! It's not baseball, but let's see a rally. Let's go Leafs!